Hi, everybody. It's Coach Hall, and welcome to the Monday Motivational Meeting. Body, mind, spirit. That's what we're going to talk about today. It's all about the body, mind, and spirit. But before we get into it, let's talk about what's going on with the group. Gained an extra member this week. We're at 72, so we had a little slip going back up in the other direction. That's great. I want to talk about and just give a big thanks to Sonja. She's been so wonderful every day. She's very dedicated and will post in the group things that are so inspirational. I read them. I get fired up reading what she puts out there every day, and it's good stuff. It's really good stuff. If you haven't taken the time to read it, just take the time to read it. It's really good stuff. Every day there's something. She's comes from a bit of a personal perspective as well, kind of this general idea and then a personal perspective. Very good stuff. I mean, really, I get fired up when I read her post, and oftentimes, more often than not, it very much aligns with what we're teaching in the different courses that you're taking with me. So it's an easy bridge and for me to just kind of jump on, but don't want to steal her limelight. She's doing a wonderful job, and I want to just thank you so much, Sonja, for your contribution. You're doing great things, and not only that, she's got me to do this bed and drinking water challenge, which you probably noticed. I post every day, myself next to my bed with my container of water or a bottle of water of some sort, and her motive for doing it and my motive is a little bit different, although they're not so different in alignment, but she started her path of doing that because of her reasons to do so, and I do mine for a different set of reasons. But the point is that it's something you can do early on in your day. You can get your early victories out of the way, get your day started off in a good way, and that's what the whole challenge is all about. And I again invite you guys to join us. Just get up in the morning. The first thing you can do is make your bed. Now, it doesn't mean that if you don't make your bed, your day is going to go horribly bad. I've actually had to jump up out of bed because the day got started faster than I wanted. A phone call comes in, somebody needs help. I'm not going to take time to make my bed. I'm going to run out the door and go help somebody, right? And that's going to be a victory, though. So the point is, if you don't make your bed, find something else that becomes the victory for you to get your day started. And that's what it's all about, getting your day started off on the right foot. A very simple task like making your bed, getting yourself well hydrated to flush out your system, drink water. It's just a wonderful, quick way to get your day going in the right direction. And that's what this is all about. Now, if you do something else other than make your bed and drink water in the morning, but it motivates you and it gets you going and it's something positive, I want to hear about it. We want to hear about it. Share it with us, because some people might not relate to making beds. You know, sometimes, to be honest with you, my wife will make the bed before I get a chance to make the bed. I'm out walking a dog and come back, she's made the bed. And then I'll go in and, maybe I'll just move some things around. So I've been cheating a little bit. That's the honest truth. But, either she or I are making the bed, and we're drinking water, and we're doing all these different things to get our day started off on the right footing. So that's what we want to talk about, and share that kind of information with the group. It's going to help us all get inspired to support one another and move our lives in the right positive way. Okay, so what I would like to hear from you guys is, again, what your early daily victories are to get your day started off in a good way. What motivates you? What motivates you? And this is going to lead us into the body, mind, spirit aspect of what we're going to be talking about today. I want to talk about motivation when it comes to your body, mind, and your spirit. If you've got these three things working for you, you got everything. Really, if your body is at the optimal best, if your mind is operating at its optimal best, if your spirit is operating at its optimal best, there is nothing happening in this world that you can't handle. Life just feels so great when you've got these things all firing in sequence, like in sync rather. And a sequence too. There's a sequence to it. Sequence and in sync. And that's really what we want to talk about. Motivation in these three areas: body, mind, and spirit. Now, let's talk about motivation a little bit. The very well or renowned psychologist Willian Glasser has a theory that basically says there's 5 things that will motivate us. One being freedom, the other being fun, the third thing being survival, 4 being power, and number 5 being love. Not in that order. It's up to the individual to determine what is sort of the priority of those 5. It could be a combination of these things, but one of these 5 things tends to be what is behind our motivation. It might be your desire for freedom. That's why you're doing everything that you do, or the way you behave, the way you behave, the way you act, the way you act, what your mood is set for. Maybe your freedom is being trampled on, and that's why you're in a negative mindset, because freedom is that important to you, and that's what motivates you. It could be just the desire to have fun. Maybe life isn't fun, and you're just trying to do what you can to have fun. Could be just pure survival. Some of us are just trying to get by, right? Could be power. Another term for power might be control. We just want to have control of our lives and maybe some other folks, maybe some things that are going on. Or we want the actual power of being a leader and directing ourselves as well as having others follow us. And then finally, love. Love is very important. It's connection, it's belonging, and there's nothing like love, right? Now, another concept of motivation is the carrot and the whip. We're motivated by pleasure and or by pain. Like some of us won't get up off the couch until it hurts too much to sit on the couch anymore. And then we'll get up and go, right? Sometimes we won't leave a relationship until the pain gets so bad that we finally get the courage to break up the relationship and move on with our lives. Sometimes we won't leave that job until the pain of the job is just so great that we are forced to go out and look for new employment. But others are just driven by pleasure. I want more money, or the pleasure of obtaining more wealth, the pleasure of winning an award of some sort. The pleasure is what's driving you. So that might be something that you can relate to more versus those 5 things that Glasser talks about: freedom, fun, survival, power, and love. Now, we can also look at another idea, which I've heard many folks that are in my peer group, if you will, talk about. The suggestion is that we're motivated by fame or fortune or power or impacting others. If I had to choose, I would say that's what's really motivating me. I want to impact the lives of other people more so than having control or more so than having money. And I'm certainly not really interested in fame, though I do like being recognized. That's part of the equation too. Money is just sort of the means to get to the end, so it's not really what's driving me. And having control is kind of an issue with me at times. I tend to want to have too much control, and I need to relinquish some of that control so that I can impact more lives, right? So maybe that is what will register or make sense with how you're operating when you think about motivation. Another idea comes from Anthony Robbins. The great Tony Robbins suggests that there are motives that are need-driven. These are need-driven. These are 6 key needs: certainty, contribution, growth, significance, love or connection, and variety or uncertainty. Okay. So maybe you're driven because you need certainty. You need security, safety. You can't move unless everything feels safe. That would be certainty. contribution. So if I was using Tony Robbins form, it would be like, yeah, I want to contribute. I want to be a part of this whole thing that we're all experiencing together, right? Growth, that's very important for me too. Love and connection, well, of course, that's all part of the growth and contribution for me. Significance, well, again, I like to get recognized, and I want to have a significant role in the impact on others, but certainly in my own life. I need to have that. And variety and uncertainty, yeah, I like to see new things. I like to have excitement at times, or it's nice to be surprised, although that doesn't really completely drive me all the time. So maybe Tony Robbins is what you'd better relate to. And finally, we'll look at Abraham Maslow and his theory, his hierarchy of needs. Sometimes the physiological needs is what's going to take over. So if you start to pay attention to all these different theories, Glasser's talking about survival, Tony Robbins is talking about certainty, Maslow's talking about physiological needs, which is basically survival needs. Okay, so you're starting to see a common thread here. Safety is another one, loving and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. These are the things that Maslow suggests. And these are the areas that we might be focused on that might be what's moving you today. So I just want you to spend a little time thinking about the motivation of your life, what's driving you. And sometimes we're just looking at these things helps us connect with ourselves and go, okay, well, that's what's really moving me. That's what's making me go. That's what's making me tick. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And when we are aligned with what's actually driving us, we have a sense of mindfulness, we have a sense of awareness, and now we can better dictate what our next move is going to be. And we can stay motivated because we know what motivates us. We can stay motivated. As long as we know what motivates us, we can operate in that realm, right? We can continue moving in a motivated kind of way. So these are very powerful gurus, life coaches, experts in these different fields. And I would just spend some time looking at these words to help maybe trigger what motivates you. Now, there's another word that I didn't mention, and it really is what motivates me the most, and it's purpose. And this is what I wake up to every day. This is what gets me going. In fact, on days that I don't feel like getting up, I just want to kind of lay in bed today or whatever. Every once in a while it happens, like, yeah, I'm just not going to wake up at my normal time. I'm going to sleep another hour. Then I just start thinking about my purpose, and I go, whoa, wait a minute. Don't have time for that. Don't have time for that. I got to get up and get my purpose done. And that's what gets me going when I don't really necessarily want to go all the time. My purpose is what drives me. It's what keeps me going. And the truth is that I actually see some of the elements of all these wonderful ideas embedded into purpose. I mean, I can go across the board here. My purpose has a lot to do with freedom, because I want people to have more freedom in terms of their life, move from fixed mindsets to open mindsets and growth-oriented mindsets, because this will give you more opportunity. This will give you more choices, more direction to go. Having all these available options for you makes you feel better and gives you more sense of freedom, because you're not stuck inside this fixed world that you've created for yourself. You can break those bonds, if you will, and become more free. There's certainly fun in this whole thing. My purpose is to try to make the whole learning process and this conversion process and this reprogramming process as fun as possible. Let's make light of the fact that, hey, we're ignorant and we don't know what we don't know, and we can have some levity in this whole process. We can enjoy life. We can just take a pause and look at where we're at, and then take a step back from where we're, and just objectively see ourselves and have some fun with this whole experience. Yeah, we're going to slip and fall every once in a while, right? Okay, we can laugh about it. Okay, maybe not at the time, because when we go down, it hurts. But later on, we can look back and go, "Oh, that's kind of a silly decision I made based on, no reason whatsoever. We're just feeling it," and we can laugh about that, and that's good. We can have fun. And certainly, I'm driven because of the survival aspect. I just have a hard time thinking about how we can continue moving in the direction that we're going with such polarization in this planet, and our lack of recognizing what we're doing to the planet itself, and how we're just really, it feels kind of like we're at a breaking point, right? And so I kind of feel like my purpose is to help us open up, become awake, become more mindful, understand our body, mind, and spirit, and that whole aspect of the experiences that we have, and using these modalities to help us gain better understanding of our mind, like ACT, or like 6FEM, or like the CTME, or like the different principles and ingredients, and all I teach in the Happy Life certification program. And of course, what I'm doing for parents in my optimal parenting program, it's all about helping you recognize what your children are trying to say to you through their only means of communicating, which is really behavior. They're really good at behavior, and even though we might judge that behavior to be poor or inappropriate or unacceptable, it's still a means of communicating. And if we're tuned into this, we can learn what it is that they're actually trying to say to us, get on their level, speak their language, so we have this mutual understanding. And that's what children want. They want to be understood. We all want to be understood. I want to be understood. You want to be understood. Every child wants to be understood. And that's what really makes that feeling of belonging set in. So if your children are driven by love, and a lot of us are, we need to know what each other is really trying to communicate to the other person. And so we have to learn the language of the emotional language, emotional intelligence. We need to know the language of body language, and the language of feelings, and how those feelings are connected to words, and the words connected to thoughts, and this whole process of communication, in addition to whatever linguistic or phonetic way that you're speaking to somebody. That's the last of the ways in which we communicate, but we rely on it so heavily. And we can't forget these other elements of communication. Are so important, especially with children. So these are the things I'm trying to do, and this is my purpose, and this is what really drives me each and every day. And again, go through these different terms that are being used by guys like Glasser and Robbins and Maslow, to see if there's something that connects with you. And I'd like for you to look at this triangle of body, mind, and spirit, and look at what can motivate you to develop these things. Learn more about your body, learn more about your mind, learn more about your spirit, or just spirit in general. There's a nature, nurture, mystery experience of our life. So, and body is basically connected with nature. It's part of nature. Our mind is what's nurturing this whole experience. We either, with our mind, create a world that's positive and open, where we can see much more of it, or we get negative and we start to create a more narrow vision, almost like we're looking through a periscope at life. And we can get so negative, in fact, that we want to end our lives. And that's not a place that we want to go. And that goes against pretty much every principle, every religious principle out there, and every code in existence. It goes against the purpose of life. Our purpose of life is to procreate and recreate and keep life alive. Okay? That's part of what all life does, right? Spirit is part of the mystery. And, I don't speak a lot about religion or individual faith. I consider myself, if I had to put myself into a category, I'd say I'm an omnist, which not even sure if I don't think that's an actual religion. It's just basically a term that basically says I look for the commonality of all religions and all faiths and focus more on what we all are in common with and less about what we have in disagreement with. Because we can disagree on what you want to call your faith and what you want to call God, and if there's more gods than one God. None of that stuff is going to get us moving forward. It's only going to create a division. And I'm looking for us to move forward. So I don't focus on those things. I focus on things like the Golden Rule. The Golden Rule is a principle that crosses every realm. Every religion has the Golden Rule. Okay? So I want you to take time to face your mind this week. Work on your body, your mind, your spirit. Get out there and exercise. Your body was designed to move. We've got these long legs and these long arms. They weren't really designed. We're not designed to sit at a desk for 8 hours a day. Most of us do that. We do a lot of sitting. We're sitting in our cars, we're sitting in the buses, we're sitting in trains to get to our jobs, and then a lot of our jobs are sitting down. But if we go back just a couple hundred years, almost nobody was sitting down. We were all up and moving. We were more of like an agricultural society, a lot of pastures, a lot of farms, ranches. Everything was outdoors, and we were moving. We got up in the morning, we started moving. We were moving and moving, and we go back further in history where hunters and gatherers, everybody was moving all the time just to survive. So only in the last couple hundred years have we become more sedentary in our ways, but our body's still designed to move. And this is what's going to keep you active. This is what's going to keep you alive. This helps your brain, which is what's connected to your mind and to your spirit. And if you're poisoning your body or you're not exercising your body, your brain gets foggy, your brain gets messy, and that will impact your mind. All right? So we want to have a strong body, we want to have a strong mind, we want to understand the mind, we want to learn about the mind, we want to start using these frameworks to help us practice developing our mind so our mind can slowly but surely move more towards mastery. Once you master your mind, you master your body, and you master spirit. Whatever it is, I'm not going to tell you what to believe. You figure it out. You have a calling. You know what it is. Someone, something is speaking to you. Listen to that. There's something there. Connect with that. Because it's important. It's what's driving you. It's what's keeping you alive. Right? It's what's lifting you up when you're down. It's that spirit. And your inner spirit as well, your will and your desire, your self-esteem, your self-worth. All of these things are important. Okay, so just look at what motivates you to build up your mind. What motivates you to build up your body? What motivates you to build up your spirit? Find it, do it, become the best version of you possible. Okay, guys, have a wonderful week ahead. As I say every week, as I sign off now, my new routine, live long and prosper, see the world through many perspectives while keeping cool, right? And share the love.